Today we're going to be checking out the Camp Snap CS8 video camera. So I'm going to take the camera with me on a trip to York, and everything's going to be filmed at 30 frames per second. So I won't be using the analog filter, which is 18 frames per second, but I will provide a separate video in the description that you can see at the proper frame rate what that looks like. So I'll do a variety of the filters, but everything's going to be using the 4:3 aspect ratio and the onboard audio. So I've not bothered bringing an additional microphone to test that, but we'll do in another video. The camera itself doesn't come with a lens cap cover, so I've made my own out of a little Mario birthday cup, and that slots straight over the end.
It's the first time I've bought the old plans. It's only the first season.
Jack used to play out, but they didn't get out.
If you're going for all the go past church, past your back car, just go for it.
Vintage one.
Turn around. Yeah. So go.
Vintage 2. Standard. Vintage 1. Vintage 2.
This could have been you, and in all honesty, without these three, I wouldn't be where I am today.
This is the audio from the inbuilt microphone on the CS8. This is the audio from the Rode Video Mic Go 2 plugged into the mic input, and there's a dead cat on the microphone mounted onto the cold shoe adapter. This is the sound from the DJI Mic Mini plugged into the microphone input with no noise cancellation. This is the sound of the DJI Mic Mini with noise cancellation. So I think the pros of this camera are that it looks really cool and it makes you capture video differently, so you spend less time in menus and reviewing footage. There's inbuilt filters which are quick and convenient for capturing different vibes on the fly. It's super easy to use. The battery life is excellent, and the analog meters are a great touch for that vintage feel. You can even add an external mic, which is great, and the analog filter option offers a cool retro vibe and captures video at 18 frames per second. So in terms of the cons, it's got no inbuilt stabilisation, so unless you're locked off on a tripod, the footage is going to be quite shaky. Walking and using this as like a point and shoot video capture tool kind of renders the footage quite useless. And even if you mount it on a tripod, you're going to need to hold the trigger down to record, so that'll cause some movement. And you can put something like a tie on it, so like I've got a bobble here that just loops over that and holds it down, but it's a bit of a faff. The onboard audio is pretty terrible, and the noise of the trigger clicking when you start and stop recording renders the clip audio unusable unless you edit it out. Pulling the trigger to record is very uncomfortable, and you'll start to feel it after a day out filming. Because it's quite a wide handle, it does actually start to ache your hand. Also, it doesn't come with a lens cap, so you'll need to buy one to protect it. I found one on eBay which fits really well. Finally, the audio preamp is pretty low quality. If Camp Snap were to iterate on the product, I think there's 3 things that would unquestionably take it to a whole new level. Firstly, inbuilt stabilisation. I know it's going for the vintage vibe, but shaky footage is just unacceptable in the modern age. The fact that it has the trigger makes you want to use it as a point and shoot handheld capture tool, but this type of handheld shooting is prone to more unstable footage, so stabilisation would increase the video quality massively. Secondly, a better internal mic and preamp. People will tolerate bad video, but they won't tolerate bad audio. This needs to be improved, and the trigger needs to be silent to operate. And thirdly, an optional single press start-stop button in addition to the trigger. So there's actually a dummy button on the eyepiece, and that could be turned into a start-stop record button. And this would be super handy when you're locked off on the tripod, which I think is where you get the best footage from the camera. So I think it's a fun camera to use, and it can be a really useful tool for certain video projects. You need to be very intentional about what you capture and how, but if you get this right, you can get wonderful results. It's not a camera for everything, but those who aren't into cameras won't be bothered by that, and those who are will already have another versatile camera. I'd say it's definitely worth trying out, and you'll definitely have a fun time using it, and you may even capture some unique, cool footage that you're really happy with. In my opinion, you buy this camera for the look, the feeling it gives you when shooting, and the 18 frames per second vintage analog filter shooting mode in the 4:3 aspect ratio. That's what makes it different to any other video camera available. It can do the vintage camcorder thing, but there are far better old handy cams you can pick up secondhand on eBay with better stabilisation for that. It's not a true Super 8 film look, but it certainly gives a nice vintage aesthetic out of the box, and that's what I think you're paying for, plus the vintage camera look and the simple, easy to use design. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.